Hello and welcome to this lecture in consumer behavior and marketing communication. The topic that we are going to deal with in this lecture is social class and the consumer behavior. Before we discuss the topic, let me elaborate the concept of social class to my students. Referring to this slide, as we can read here, social class refers to a social position that an individual occupies in the society. Now, if we look at the society carefully, a society is not uniform. A society is having non-uniformity. A society is not homogeneous. A society as a whole is heterogeneous, where you will find different types of people in terms of their financial position. There are certain people in the society who are rich, who are extremely rich, while there are certain people in the society who are poor and who are extremely poor. So, therefore, what I mean to say is, if we divide the society into various hierarchical divisions and these divisions are made on the basis of financial standing and social standing of a person, such compartmentalization of the society on the basis of income level, level of education, ownership of property, occupation, etc. If we make these criteria and if we compartmentalize the society, social divisions would be formed. So, to sum up, we can say that social class refers to a social position that an individual occupies in the society. It is a hierarchical division. So, social class is a hierarchical division of the society into distinct and relatively homogeneous groups. Now, it is important for us to understand the meaning of these words, distinct and relatively homogeneous. Now, as I said that the society is a non-uniform entity, there are very rich, poor and very poor people here in the society. So, if we categorize them and if we compartmentalize them into different classes comprising of very rich, poor and very poor people, we can see that within each of these compartments, the people are more or less homogeneous with respect to many characteristics that we are going to discuss. So, within each social class or within each categorization or within each compartment, people belonging to a particular social class may have some common characteristics, and these common characteristics are sources and level of income, level of education, ownership of property and occupation. So, to sum up, we can say that people belonging to a particular social class are having uniformity with respect to these four characteristics. Person belonging to very rich class or poor class have some uniformity over these characteristics. Moving ahead, characteristics of a social class. Now that we have understood what a social class is, which is actually a hierarchical division of the society based on various criterias, mainly wealth, we can also study certain characteristics of social class. In the slide, you can see that there are four characteristics of any social class which are mentioned. I would like to call out the name of these characteristics first. The first characteristic is bounded. A social class is bounded by certain norms, certain rules, certain regulations, which might not be written anywhere, but these are followed. Social classes are mutually exclusive. By being mutually exclusive, what I mean to say is that a person will fit in one and only one social class. It cannot happen that a person belongs to more than one social class at the same time. However, it might happen that a person can shift from one social class to the other. Like suppose if a person increases his wealth and increases his earnings, he can shift from the middle class to the upper class. But at any given point of time, that person will belong either to the middle or to the upper class. Third characteristic is a social class, these are exhaustive. The meaning of this characteristic is, suppose there are 100 people in a society and there are three social classes which are upper class, middle class and lower class. all the 100 people in the society will have to fit in either of the three classes. It cannot happen that one of the member of the society is classless or is not being able to fit in any class. So, exhaustive means all the members of the society will fit in any of the given classes which are prevalent in the society. The next characteristic which is very important is that social classes are influential. What does this mean? It means that the people belonging to a particular social class are influenced by the norms, are influenced by the behavior of other people who are present in the same social class. So, it means that social classes are influential to their members. The people who are present in the upper class get influenced by the rules and norms of the upper class. People who are present in the lower class or the middle class are influenced by the rules and norms of that particular class to whom they belong to. So, therefore, to sum up, we can say that social classes are having 4 characteristics. These are bounded, mutually exclusive. It means that one person can belong to a particular social class at a given point of time. These are exhaustive, which means that all the members of the society will have to fit in either of the given social class which is prevailing in the society, as well as these are influential. There are differences in behavioral pattern between classes. So, the behavioral pattern of a person belonging to the upper class will be different from the behavioral pattern of a person belonging to the middle or lower class. Okay, we move ahead from here. Now, this is a very important slide, because this slide will give us a fair idea about the types of social classes which are existing in the society. Ideally, the society can be divided into 3 classes, that is the upper class, middle class and lower class. The people who belong to the upper class or the middle class or the lower class are segregated on the basis of various criteria. Social classes are generally divided into 3 major categories: upper, middle and lower, and this categorization is done on the basis of wealth, on the basis of education, on the basis of property which is held by the people. By wealth, I mean a sum total of the money, the ornaments and other things, the valuable material and all the materialistic possessions that a person has. So, a social class is decided on the basis of wealth, education, property, etc. For our convenience, what we have done is we have divided upper, middle and lower classes into 4 distinct categories by adding a working class in between middle and lower class. So, if you look at this diagram carefully, this diagram comprises of not 3 but 4 divisions. The topmost division is upper class, then you have the middle class, then there is a working class and then there is a lower class. Now, there can be a question as to who does this elite class or the upper class belongs to. So, the members of the upper class come from the elite of the society. By elite of the society, I mean the people who have huge disposable incomes, who have huge savings in millions of rupees per year. So, the elite of the society belong to the upper class. They can be either doing business or they can be in some other profession. Now, these are identified by marketeers, low percentage of population. The marketing aspect of these social classes is something that we are going to discuss in the slides to follow. Right now, our concentration is on the division of the society in these 4 classes. Now, we have the middle class, which lies below the upper class. The middle class comprises of people who do job. So, white collar middle class. So, here you can see it's white collar. So, white collar jobs are the jobs which are for example, the job of a software engineer, or for example, the job of a banker or a professor. So, these are all white collar jobs. So, people who do white collar jobs again have good disposable incomes, they have decent savings, they have a lot of materialistic wealth also, and by the end of by the early age of the life, by the later age of the life, they are able to do a lot of savings. So white collar people comprise the middle class, and let me tell you that in India the middle class has got a huge demand base. Therefore, the marketeers are having an eye on the middle class, and the marketeers are very much interested in the middle class because they have got a huge demand base for products as well as services. From middle class we move to the working class. Now, the working class can be subdivided into two parts. There is an affluent working class, and then there are blue collar workers also. The affluent working class again is the class that comprises of people who work in offices, who work as supervisors, who work as managers, etc. So, these people have decent disposable incomes and savings, and they have a huge demand base. The next subdivision is the blue collar workers. Now, we have already discussed about white collar workers. Now, this is a term called blue collar workers. Blue collar workers are the workers who do menial jobs. For example, in blue collar workers I can include the jobs, the people who do the job of a janitor, or the people who do dusting, cleaning, or maybe they are waiters in cafeterias, drivers, cleaners, and people like this. So, they are all blue collar workers. Therefore, the working class consists of the blue collar workers as well, along with the affluent working class. Last but not the least, we have the lower class. The lower class of the society, whom we call the poor class. Now, this is the class that comprises of people for whom the government runs a lot of schemes to alleviate themselves, to alleviate them from the above the poverty line. So, these are the poor people. The lower class comprises of these people who have very low disposable income, and they do not have a huge demand base because they are not capable of purchasing products and services, and they have an extremely they live in extreme limitations so far as purchase of products and services are concerned. So, I hope that this subdivision of the society into various classes is extremely clear. If this is clear, we can move to the next slide. The next slide talks about classification of social class according to Warner's index. Now, coming to the previous slide once again, the previous slide was talking about 4 subdivisions, as you can see: upper class, middle class, working class, and lower class, where working class was subdivided into affluent and blue collar workers. Now, this slide is a slight different concept. Here we are talking about Warner's index. Now, Warner was a researcher, a sociologist in US, and through his research, what Warner did was he created an index using 4 criterias, and these criterias were of occupation, income, house, and dwelling area. Now, I will elaborate briefly all the 4 criterias before I actually move to Warner's index. Occupation means the work that a person does for his living. Income, by income we mean the disposable income that a person gets through the work that a person do. House is the place, the building in which a person live. So, in modern terminology, it can be a 3-bedroom hall kitchen or a 5-bedroom hall kitchen, or it can be a penthouse. So, your house actually reflects your financial position. The house, the kind of house in which a person lives, reflects his or her financial standing and therefore social status. And the dwelling area. So, a dwelling area can be an HIG colony, suppose, which stands for a high income group, or it can also be a LIG colony, which stands for a lower income group. So, the dwelling area is the neighborhood or the colony or the locality in which a person is living. So, in US, Warner did research and he used these 4 criterias, and then he developed an index and he divided the society into 6 parts. Now, you can take a look here. These 6 parts are the upper society, the lower upper society, the upper middle society, the lower middle society, the upper lower society and lower society. To memorize and to understand this categorization better, we can take a look here. The three subdivisions according to the previous slide were upper, then you had the middle, and then there was lower subdivision. Now what Warner did was, each of these category was divided into two categories further. So there was a upper and a lower upper, there was a upper middle and a lower middle, and then there was a upper lower and a lower. So while the upper class will comprise of the most affluent elite people in the society, the lower class will comprise of the most poor and downtrodden people in the society who will be facing acute shortage of income. So this is Warner's index, which was based on these four criteria, and therefore on the basis of these four criteria, Warner actually created 6 distinct subdivisions of the society that you are seeing here. Moving ahead. Now the main purpose of our discussion is that the purchasing power of the people in different social class differ. People in the upper class have more purchasing power because of their higher disposable income. People in the lower class have low purchasing power because of the lower disposable income, and therefore their purchasing patterns also differ. Now in the slides to follow, we are going to discuss about the purchasing patterns of people who belong to various social classes. First of all, let us discuss about the purchase pattern of the people who belong to the upper class. Now the people who belong to the upper class of the society have higher disposable incomes because of their business, or maybe they could have a lot of property from where they can get rent. So therefore they have higher disposable incomes, and because of the higher disposable incomes, they can purchase expensive products, they can purchase luxury products. As we know that products and services can also be divided into necessity, comfort and luxury. So it is the luxury products and luxury services on which the people from the upper class spend a lot of money on. Now in the slide we can see that upper class people focus on quality merchandise. So it is not actually the product that alone matters, the quality of the product also matters. As an example I can give you, suppose if they are interested in purchasing a pen, then they can go for a Parker pen which costs rupees 150 or 200 or 250 and so on. So it is not only the product or the service that will matter to them, it is also the quality, and it is the overall impact of the product and service that will influence them before they purchase it. So they will buy expensive equipments, hobby and recreational equipments, arts, books and recreation. So a lot of money would be spent on recreation, on hobbies, arts, books, vacations. And why? Because they have higher disposable incomes and they have a lot of time, for leisure, and they can spend their incomes on all these products and services. This is a small size segment with a lot of discretionary income. Now let me tell you that upper class is a small sized segment. So there are not much people there. So it is comprising of not much population. The population that belongs to the upper class is low. There are less number of people there, and they have a lot of discretionary income. Discretionary income means the income that they can spend at leisure, that they can spend on various types of recreational activities. So people are expected to purchase products and services according to their social class they belong to, and here we are seeing the people who belonging to upper class, they spend their money on such products and services. Now we move to the people who belong to the middle class, as we call the great Indian middle class, comprising of the working people. The middle class or the working class, so what they will basically purchase, they will purchase a lot of clothing, they will purchase products for their children, they will have to spend money to purchase homes, because they might be living on rent and might be thinking to purchase a home, and as they see that they have accumulated some wealth or some money, they might be interested in purchasing a home for themselves. They might be interested in purchasing products related with self presentation. So, as a middle class person, a man or a person might be interested in purchasing a Titan watch or maybe a Reebok pair of shoes, because these products are highly identified. People look at these products with high esteem. So, the people belonging to the middle class would look towards purchasing products of such kind. Working class, however, loves for the present. The middle class is the reference group for the working class. Now, we will just go back to the slide. Here you can see the middle class comprises of the middle and the working class. So, for working class, middle class is the reference group. So, the working class will actually look up to the middle class, and then they will take some kind of a advice or some kind of a cue from the middle class, and then they would go about making their purchase of products and services. So, coming back, working class loves for the present, and they would purchase products and services according to their ability and as per their disposable income. From here we move towards lower class. Now, lower class, as we have already discussed, lower class is the most deprived class of the society. People belonging to the lower class have low disposable incomes, and because of low disposable incomes, they do not have the ability to spend so much. Therefore, most of the purchases that they make it to fulfill their physiological needs. The physiological needs are basically the basic needs that you have to fulfill in order to live: food, clothing and shelter. So, the people belonging to the lower class, because of their low disposable income, their focus is on fulfilling their physiological needs. These are the people who would not look for quality, but who would look for a product which can be purchased at a price that they can afford. So, suppose they go out for purchase of clothing, so they would never look for brand. Now, brand is something that can be owned by the people of upper and maybe middle class, but these are the people who would look for clothes that they can purchase with given amount of money. So, they are not brand conscious, but they would rather go for fulfilling their physiological needs without taking a look at the brand or the quality, because theirs is a fight for the survival. So, lower income levels do not allow people in lower class to purchase expensive items. So, they will not go for expensive items. If they have to purchase a watch, maybe they can go for a local brand or something, so that they can afford it. They go for economical purchases. There is something that I would like to explain here. We have all seen that there are products which are available in smaller quantities. If we go to the market, we can see that shampoo is available as a sachet, and we have oils, cooking oil, which are available in extremely small quantity in small bottles. So, now the people of the lower class, since they cannot afford purchasing big bottles, or they cannot afford purchasing packets of maybe 1 kg, so they could go after purchasing small sachet and small bottles of such products. So, this is what I wanted to point out here specifically. So, lower income group settles for small quantity purchases. Marketing strategy and social class. Now, the job of the marketer is to make the product available, and not only to make the product available, but in making the product available or supplying the right product to the right customers at the right time, at the right price, and with the right promotion. So, it is important to understand. I would like to read out these 3 lines once again. Marketers are interested in supplying the right product to the right customers at the right time, at the right price, with the right kind of promotion. So, marketers have to sell their products, and before the marketers lie people who have been segregated into different social classes, as we have already discussed. Marketers select social class, which is a better prediction of customers' lifestyle than income. Now, let us understand what this line means to say. A person belonging to a particular social class will reflect a particular kind of lifestyle, will reflect a particular kind of purchase pattern. Example, a person who belongs to the upper class will be more interested in purchasing quality expensive products, will be more interested in purchasing holiday packages, will be more interested in purchasing handloom, very expensive handloom fabrics and things like that. So, marketers will select their social class and then they will offer their product or their services to these social class. The reasons for shopping and purchases are also different among different social classes. I will give you a very small example of transportation. Suppose a person has to get himself transported from point A to point B, or a person has to go from point A to point B, let us say Delhi to Mumbai. So, there are various means to go from Delhi to Mumbai. So, a person who is belonging to the upper class and has got a lot of disposable income, he will simply switch on his computer, connect it to an internet and book a flight ticket. And not only an economic class ticket, he can book a business class ticket also, which is the most expensive in its category. So, people from upper class can book flight tickets from going from Delhi to Mumbai. Similarly, if we talk about people from the middle class, the people from the middle class can book a train ticket. When you book a train ticket, you know that there are various subdivisions. You can book a first class AC train ticket, or a class 3 AC train ticket, or a class 2 AC train ticket, or a sleeper ticket. And a person who has not got this much of disposable income will somehow manage to go from Delhi to Mumbai through various means, through road transport and etc., etc. So, therefore, people make purchases according to their disposable income and the classes they are in, and they have different reasons. The reasons for shopping are different among different social classes. So, the upper class will will spend the money on recreation, the lower class will spend the money on survival, the middle class is somewhere between the two. It can spend money on recreation as well as it will fulfill its physiological needs also. Process for designing a marketing strategy. Now, since I have already told you that marketers are interested in selling their products and they have their products designed for various social classes. So, what is the process for designing a marketing strategy? Now, if you are a marketer and you have a product or a service which you have to offer to a particular social class, you will have to follow a process for successful marketing. The strategy that you will follow would be something like this. A marketer relates the status of the group with the product. So, with your product you have to relate the status of the group, and when you will relate the status of the group with your product, you will also promote the product and position the product accordingly. So, suppose you are a luxury car maker, so you have to associate your product with a group that is upper class. If you are a family car maker or a small car maker, you have to associate your product with lower class or middle class or middle lower class. Data is collected for the targeted social strata. Now, you will collect the data of the social class to whom you want to offer the product. Then you have to position the product. The marketer positions the product according to the social status. Now, marketer positions the product. Positions here means positioning. Positioning means to create a mental image of the product. So, you have to create a mental image of the product in the minds of the people belonging to that particular social class to whom you want to offer the product or service. And then you have to develop a proper marketing mix for the product, or we can also add service. So, you have to develop a proper marketing mix. Now, by marketing mix, what I mean is you will have to develop various factors based on which you will satisfy your end consumer belonging to that particular social class. Now, for a product, as a matter of fact, the marketing mix are what we call as the 4 P's, which comprise of the product, the price, the place and the promotion. With the product, I mean the actual product that you will sell. So, this will be the product or the service that you will sell in the market. The price will again, the prices will reflect the quality. So, the price will reflect the quality and the price will be according to the target group. So, if you are selling a luxury car to people in the upper class, it would be valuable, it would have price in lakhs of rupees. Place means how you will distribute your product in the society. If you are selling a luxury car, you might open a few showrooms in metro cities, but if you are selling a family car, you will have to open many showrooms across not only metro cities but also tier 2 and tier 3 cities in suburban areas. And finally, the promotion. Let me explain the promotion in this way, that the advertisements and the hoardings of luxury car makers are found outside airports and not railway stations, while family car makers have their hoardings outside railway stations, not airports. So, you can understand, airports are accessed by people from the upper class, and therefore, you will promote your product to the upper class there. So, coming to the end of this lecture, let me sum up again what we studied. Here we studied the various types of social classes, the divisions in the society, how various social classes prefer to purchase products and how their purchase patterns differ. And then we also studied about the marketers who would offer their products to the people of various social classes and the strategy that they would follow to do so. All the queries of the students and the suggestions of the students are most welcome. My name is Ashish Avasthi, and my email ID I would like to share with you, that is ashish.awasthi@imsec.ac.in. You can send me your queries and I will try my level best to answer those. With this, I come to this end of the lecture. Thank you so much.